The Justice Department has launched an investigation into a Texas border security initiative following allegations of civil rights violations. Governor Greg Abbott created Operation Lone Star in March of 2021. The goal of the multi-billion-dollar initiative was to prevent drug and human smuggling, but new reporting from ProPublica and the Texas Tribune revealed the Justice Department has requested documents and is reviewing whether Operation Lone Star is violating the Civil Rights Act. For more, I want to bring in Perla Trevizo. She's a reporter for the ProPublica and Texas Tribune investigative unit, and she is the first one to have broken the story. We really appreciate you being with us, Perla. If you don't mind, could you give us a more general overview of Operation Lone Star for people who may not be as familiar with this? How does it work? How much money has been spent on it so far?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, Governor Abbott launched Operation Lone Star in 2021, and basically it involved the deployment of National Guard members and DPS troopers to areas along the border to enhance patrolling, to make arrests. A component of that is now part of the component of the DOJ investigation is the criminal trespassing. So basically immigrants who cross the border without authorization or present themselves through private property could be arrested for criminal trespassing. There's also, yeah, go ahead.
No, continue, please.
Yeah, part of the operation also involves fencing. He recently signed memorandums of understanding with governors on the Mexican side. So it's a wide range of initiatives under this, as you mentioned, multi-billion-dollar operation.
Well, I was reading in your reporting that you uncovered that in these letters to the Department of Justice and the Department of Homeland Security, really a lot of these groups are showing that the immigrants were illegally detained or kept in jail just far too long, which is a violation of even state law.
Yeah, so the allegations that groups like the ACLU, other civil rights groups, congressional lawmakers have made is that, citing news reports, including by some of my colleagues, include that immigrants have been detained longer without charges being filed, that it created a separate criminal justice system to process people that is discriminating and racially profiling as troopers arrest people, they claim on their perceived race and therefore status. There's also been issues that have been reported on the National Guard deployment, living conditions, pay. My colleague with the Army Times has reported on suicides of members tied to Operation Lone Star. So these are some of the broader issues that, since the launching of the operation have been reported.
Yeah, you've done tremendous reporting here. You've gathered a lot of the emails that the Justice Department sent requesting specific documents in its investigation. You've had to comb through a lot of this stuff. What are you seeing that officials are looking for exactly?
Yeah, so and I must add that the emails that we obtained were actually in response to an unrelated records request that my colleague Lexi Churchill filed, actually related to the Uvalde mass shooting that we had here in Texas. But the emails basically talk about the department seeking operation plans, for instance, any training material, any agreements with landowners, as I mentioned, for the criminal trespassing aspect of Operation Lone Star. Landowners have to have agreements with the state in order for the state to be able to carry out the arrest. So it seems that the focus of the investigation is centered on the criminal trespassing aspect of Lone Star, and they're seeking any operation material and training about how it's carrying out.
Just a day after the story broke, Governor Abbott announced Texas would pour an additional $30 million into this program. What's the governor saying now that this is a Department of Justice investigation?
We haven't heard much. I did hear back from DPS and the state department charged with the prison system in the state, who received the request from the DOJ, and they say they're cooperating with the Department of Justice and insist that the arrests are being carried out following all state and federal laws. Governor Abbott previously have said that the arrests are fully constitutional. He continues to say that this is a problem created by the current Biden administration, that it's a crisis. He continues to expand Operation Lone Star. Just today, he also announced another executive order where the National Guard and DPS troopers are now going to be arresting and transporting certain immigrants to the border. It's unclear how that's actually going to be carried out.
So there's just more news coming out day after day. Perla Trevizo, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.